For the longest time, our entire global economy has run on this really simple, but let's be honest, pretty destructive formula. We take resources, we make stuff, we use it, and then we just dispose of it. It's a straight line. That's given us a lot of growth, for sure, but it's also led us straight to a dead end. Today, we're going to talk about a seriously powerful alternative, a way to bend that line into a circle. Okay, so let's break this down. On one side, you've got the linear model we all know. It's a one-way street from the factory straight to the landfill. But on the other side, that's where things get interesting. This is the circular model. It's a system where waste isn't the end of the story, it's actually a new beginning. We're talking about designing things from the get-go to be reused, repaired, and eventually returned to nature. This isn't just a different process, it's a completely different way of thinking about value itself.
So just how big is the problem with our current way of doing things? It's this big. Every single year, the world produces over 2 billion tons of solid waste. That's a number so huge it's almost impossible to even wrap your head around. It's a literal mountain of our own making.
And here's the really alarming part. If we just keep on with business as usual, that already staggering number is on track to jump by another 70% by 2050. This isn't some far-off problem for our grandkids to solve. This is an urgent crisis that really, really needs a new approach, like right now.
So how do we fix this linear mess we're in? Well, this is where the circular economy comes in. And it's not just a small tweak, it's an elegant and incredibly powerful redesign of the whole system. At its heart, the circular economy is a total system redesign. It's an economic model that is intentionally built to keep all our resources in a continuous loop of use, transforming what we used to call waste into something genuinely valuable. Simply put, it's all about closing the loop. And this whole model really rests on 3 foundational principles. First, you design waste and pollution out from the very beginning. Think about products made to be taken apart, not just thrown away. Second, you keep products and materials in use for as long as humanly possible, through repair, reuse, and remanufacturing. And third, and this one is huge, you actively regenerate nature instead of just taking from it. It's about giving back more than we take. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about saving the planet. It's about a massive, and I mean massive, economic opportunity. Yep, that's the number, $4.5 trillion. That is the potential economic benefit of shifting to circular principles by 2030. This isn't about sacrificing growth for the environment. It's about unlocking a smarter, more resilient, and way more profitable way of doing business.
And the impact on our climate? It could be just as massive. Just by rethinking a few key industries, like steel, plastics, and aluminum, circular changes could slash global CO2 emissions by almost 9 billion tons a year by 2050. This is where economic growth and climate action actually link up.
So you're probably asking, where does all this value come from? Well, it's not magic. It comes from 3 main places. First, companies can dramatically cut their costs because they're not buying as many new raw materials. Second, it sparks incredible innovation, creating all these new business models. And third, super important, it creates millions of new jobs in fields like repair, green tech, and remanufacturing.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but what does this actually look like in practice? Let's dive into some real-world examples of circularity already in action. One of the coolest shifts is moving away from just selling products and instead providing services. It's a model called product as a service. So imagine leasing heavy machinery instead of buying it. All of a sudden, the company that made it is responsible for its entire life. That means they have every incentive to make it super durable, easy to repair, and simple to take back and reuse. And this idea is popping up everywhere. In manufacturing, you've got car companies like Renault and BMW saving millions by remanufacturing parts. In agriculture, we're seeing people close nutrient loops. That means turning organic waste back into valuable fertilizer. And in construction, waste is getting a new life. Communities in Ghana are actually turning plastic waste into eco-bricks to build new buildings. It's brilliant. Of course, a global change this big isn't easy. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a collective effort. So let's look at the challenges we face and the tools we have to close this loop for good. The major hurdles are both physical and, well, mental. In a lot of places, we just don't have the right infrastructure for collecting and recycling things effectively.
But maybe the biggest barrier of all is cultural. It's that deeply embedded, decades-old habit of just buying, using, and tossing. That disposable mindset is a tough one to break. Fortunately, we have some incredibly powerful tools to speed this all up. Digital technology is a total game changer here. AI can help us predict and optimize how long products last, while blockchain can give us the transparency we need to trace materials through the supply chain. And when you combine all that tech with smart government policies that support it, real change can happen, and it can happen fast.
And this quote just perfectly sums up the whole philosophy. The circular economy proves that we don't have to choose between a healthy planet and a healthy economy. It totally reframes the conversation. It shows us that sustainability and prosperity aren't fighting each other. They're two sides of the very same coin.
Ultimately, this brings the whole loop right back to us. Every single one of us has a role to play in this. So the question I want to leave you with is this. How can we, in our own lives and our own communities, start to demand and support the systems that make reuse and repair the easy, normal choice? The future really is circular, and it's a loop that we all have a hand in closing.